when it affects them, it impeded their state conference at the weekend and, of course, disrupted the Treasurer's speech. Well, suddenly they need to act, not to protect Jewish citizens, just to protect themselves. And, of course, in doing so, closing the gallery, they impede the rights of law-abiding citizens to observe Parliament for themselves. Other states don't seem to see anywhere near as much disruption as we see in Victoria, Caleb, where I know you spent quite a bit of time. It seems like Victoria is a state run by pro-Palestinian protesters, unionists and criminals. But I would be repeating myself, all of whom are appeased by the Victorian government, if not encouraged. So now you've got left-wing politicians running scared of their left-wing followers. It's a little hard to feel sorry for them, isn't it?
Well, as Sam Crosby said on the Sunday Showdown last night, let's be real, Victoria is a state full of crazy trots, and that it is. But the idea that the Parliament would decide that you as a citizen or even a non-citizen, I mean, you know, you can be a resident or even a tourist, that you would not have the ability to go along and freely view the process of democracy playing out is an absolute outrage. It is such a basic right to be able to go along and watch the people who you pay compulsorily through your taxes to look after you, to watch how they do their job because they are doing it for you. These people, let's not forget, are employed by us. We elect them and they are ultimately accountable to us. And then when they're faced with some protests, and yes, these idiots who have been going into the public gallery and carrying on ought to be carted away. But in the face of protest, which is part of the democratic process, they then decide, well, no one is allowed to come into Parliament and watch how we do things anymore. And they will say, oh, well, you can watch it on the live stream online. But the live stream can go down, they can cut the feed. If they really wanted to, they could stop you from watching that online. So they've taken away your ability to participate in the democratic process by seeing how it's done. And however, you know, well-meaning this might be, oh, you know, looking after the safety of parliamentarians. It starts with we're looking after the safety of parliamentarians and then, well, you know, it was actually quite good when we had the public gallery closed because it didn't create any nuisance and no noise, so why don't we leave it like that? And, well, if you can't go along and watch Parliament, then why should you have a right to participate and view any other form of democracy? Why should you be able to go to a council meeting? Why should you be able to go to federal parliament? Why should you be able to go and sit in a courtroom and watch court proceedings? Let's just do it all behind closed doors where you have no idea what's going on. I know it sounds extreme, but that is how important it is to resist this kind of thing because it is the most basic democratic right.
And also, they've only suspended it till after the winter break. What do they think is going to be different?
Well,
is the entire state of Victoria supposed to have a come-to-Jesus moment? There's not going to be lefties that are absolute nutters charging into the chamber, rather the gallery, to disrupt the chamber, which is also arguably full of nutters. But the reason that they give for this is highly questionable and not very transparent at all. So we're told that the President of the Upper House, Sean Lane, said that they reached this decision. Well, he told the hearing that the action to close the galleries had been taken after a security incident occurred while a person was being given access to Parliament on Budget Day, which is the day that we just watched some footage of. Now, word has it that this person was being signed in by an MP. No cigar for guessing what kind of MP it may have been. Signing this person in who had a history of protest action already. So obviously, someone in Parliament House, please do your job. This is perhaps someone who ought not be admitted again. But we understand that there was some sort of incident around that, and now that has justified a call so drastic. I don't believe we've ever seen this take place in any parliament, other than COVID. Obviously, all the rules went out. The walls?
The window.
The window.
The window.
Hey! But this is our parliament. We paid for this place.
Exactly.
We are effectively the employers who have been currently locked out of our own... we own the place. By our little employees being like, well, we're concerned about our safety or whatever rubbish excuse they want to cook up. You didn't care when it was the public. No. But you care now, don't you? Because now you're feeling threatened by people that... Get this, Victorian Parliament. You plant potatoes, you harvest potatoes, okay? And that is what you guys do. You nut jobs, you make terrible policies, you never crack down on the fruits of your labour, obviously, because you can't be this bad at your job unintentionally. So these are the kinds of people that you want to harvest there in Victoria, and you don't have a problem with it, do you? Until they show up to your place of work, and then you take it really personally. Just like the Premier recently came out because her office has been trashed for the third time by these pro-Palestinian protesters who seem to think that she's got great sway regarding what's happening in Gaza, and she's all angry about that. None of the rest. None of the fact that, I don't know, Melbourne University is currently under siege. No, none of that. She won't speak about any of that. But she's very angry that her own office has been trashed. And, of course, you get these agitators coming in if you're going to have open galleries, as you should. But that's what we pay security for. So we give you this awesome place called Parliament House. You get to come there and act all grand. If someone is an agitator... We're paying security to look after you guys, and they can just pull them out of the gallery. They have absolutely no excuse to close the gallery whatsoever.
And supposedly one of the other excuses is that when you had that incident, the woman who was screaming and shouting in the middle of the budget, when she was being removed, a parliamentary attendant was injured or something, right? But, I mean, you know, they don't go around shutting down pubs because a bouncer copped a bit of biffo from some drunk bloke on a Saturday night, right? We just understand that sometimes these things happen. It's unfortunate. You get a bit of compo and a few days off and then you go back to work.
But if that's the case, just tell the public the details. Again, you're working for us.
And why can't
so just tell us that was the case.
Why can't they just treat it? Because they're saying we need to have this ban or stop or whatever you want to call it until after the winter break so we can figure out how to deal with it, right? I can tell you right now how to deal with it. If someone comes and sits in the public gallery and impedes the proceedings of Parliament, you ban them for 2 years. Just like if you go to the MCG or Adelaide Oval or the SCG or the Gabba or anywhere and you disrupt the game, you carry on in an antisocial manner, the cops give you a move-on order and they ban you from the ground for a couple of years. Just do it. I mean, how hard can it be to do that tomorrow and you fix the issue without having to remove everyone from the gallery for months?
For Prime Minister, problem solved. How easy was that, Victoria? How easy was that? You're not crushing anyone's democratic rights, but of course, that's your specialty, isn't it?